Hello and welcome to Quiz Time. Today our quiz is on the 1950s and 60s. So, are you ready to go back in time? Let's go. What was the name of Bill Haley's backup group? The Satins, the Comets, or the Duprees? The Comets. Les Paul is associated with which instrument? Guitar, piano, or violin? The guitar. Richie Valens' first major hit was about a girl named what? Mary, Peggy Sue, or Donna? Donna. In what year was Tutti Frutti released? 1959, 1955 or 1951? (1955). What is the name of this 1960s Supreme song? Something, Love, My, Baby or Beautiful? Baby Love. What was Bing Crosby's real first name? Andrew, Richard or Harry? Harry. Terry Buzz Johnson was a member of this 1950s singing group. The Flamingos, the Fleetwoods, or the Capris? The Flamingos. What country was Percy Faith from? Canada, England, or Spain? Canada. What was Chuck Willis's real first name? Vincent, Martin, or Harold? Harold. Complete this 1950 Phil Harris song. The Monster, Thing, or The Girl? The Thing. Fill in the blank. 1960s Audrey Hepburn film. Breakfast at... Breakfast at Tiffany's. What singer was nicknamed The Killer? Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, or Dwayne Eddy? Jerry Lee Lewis. Roughly, what was the cost of a home in the 1950s? About $2,000, about $7,000, or about $12,000? About $7,000. What is Gwendolyn Brooks most associated with? Poetry, theatre, or painting? Poetry. In what year did Cinderella debut? 1955, 1950, or 1953? 1950. In what month did I Love Lucy debut? December, June, or October? October. On November 1st, 1952, the United States dropped a hydrogen bomb on what country? Cambodia, Japan, or the Marshall Islands? The Marshall Islands. In what state did John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Bouvier wed? California, Massachusetts, or Rhode Island? Rhode Island. Complete this 1960s Dionne Warwick song, Something On By. Walk on by. What was Audrey Hepburn's first film? Roman Holiday, Charade, or Breakfast at Tiffany's? It was Roman Holiday. What country was Tenzing Norgay from? China, India, or Nepal? Nepal. In what city did Marilyn Monroe wed Joe DiMaggio? San Francisco, New York, or Topeka? San Francisco. Where was Oprah Winfrey born? Alabama, Mississippi, or Georgia? Mississippi. How many days did the Montgomery bus boycott last? 381, 12, or 65? $381 days. What was Nat King Cole's real middle name? Brian, Adam, or John? It was Adam. What country had the strongest military during the 1950s? The United States. By 1964, the end of the baby boom, about how many babies had been born? 77 million, 100 million, or 500 million? 77 million. In what 3 states were Levittown's found? New York, Vermont, and Florida, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, or Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and California? New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. True or false? During the 1950s, women were encouraged to stay at home and raise children. It's true. Would we want to go back to that? Do we like our independence? In what year did the first Grammy Awards take place? 1954, 1965, or 1959? (1959). Whose book, the feminine mystique is credited with the rebirth of the feminist movement: Bella Abzug, Gloria Steinem, or Betty Friedan. Gloria Steinem. The Beach Boys sang a song about girls from this state: Hawaii, California, or Kansas. California. A new border between North Korea and South Korea was created on this date: July 27th, 1952, 1955, or 1953. It was July 27th, 1953. During the 1950s, people were afraid subversives would do this: destroy society with communism, ruin new music, or spread false religious beliefs. Destroy society with communism. Who sang the song Cherry Hill Park? Bobby Vinton, Billy Joe Royal, or Marvin Gaye? Billy Joe Royal. The Stonewall Rebellion is believed to be the first of this movement: feminist rights, gay rights, or African American rights. Gay rights. Medicare and Medicaid were part of this president's Great Society package: Richard Nixon, John F. Kennedy, or Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson. People who wanted to avoid the draft were known as what? Draft dodgers, drafters, or anti-drafts. Draft dodgers. What year did the Equal Pay Act go into effect? 1963, 1969, or 1955? (1963). This 1960s fashion skirt was named after a writing utensil: marker, pencil, or pen. The pencil skirt. The 1963 film Beach Party popularised this women's fashion: bikini, miniskirt, or blouse. Bikini. In what year did the British invasion start? 1964, 1960, or 1969? (1964). Who was the Prime Minister of England for most of the 1960s? Winston Churchill, Harold Wilson, or James Callaghan? Harold Wilson. Charles de Gaulle fled France in 1968 because of what? War, famine, or protests? Protests. How many presidents served the United States during the 1960s? 4, 1, or 3? (4). When did the Cuban Revolution occur? 1950 to 59, 1953 to 59, or 1955 to 59. 1953 to 1959. European Communion market was formed with this treaty in 1957, Treaty of Paris, Treaty of Rome, or Treaty of Munich. Treaty of Rome. When did Brasilia become the capital of Brazil? April 21st, 1964, 1955, or 1960? It was April the 21st, 1960. This 1960s song by Bobby Vinton talks about a soldier away from home. Ballad of the Green Berets, Mr. Lonely, or Ode to Billy Joe. Mr. Lonely. In 1954, this hurricane hit Haiti, killing 1,000 people. Hurricane Jenny, Hurricane Sue, or Hurricane Hazel? Hurricane Hazel. In 1959, this typhoon hit central Honshu, killing about 5,100 people. Typhoon M, Typhoon Laura, or Typhoon Vera? Typhoon Vera. In December 52, the Great Smog of this city occurred, which caused numerous accidents. London, Milan, or Dublin? London. Anastasio Somoza Garcia, the president of this country, was assassinated in 1956. Argentina, Nicaragua, or Paraguay? Nicaragua. Cells from Henrietta Lacks have been used to help with this type of cancer: uterine, breast, or cervical? Cervical. Where would you most likely find a jukebox? In a school, in a post office, or in a diner? In a diner. Complete the name of this 1950s singer. Something Ernie Ford. Tennessee, Kentucky, or Colorado? Tennessee. Concetta Rosa Maria Franconero is better known by this name: Brenda Lee, K-Star, or Connie Francis? Connie Francis. Teen Angel, Last Kiss, Tell Laura I Love Her, Dead Man's Curve, and Leader of the Pack are all songs centered around the same theme. What's the theme? Teen deaths because of traffic accidents. Complete this Tony Bennett song. If I, the world, ran, ruled, or loved? Ruled. Dizzy Gillespie, Stan Getz, and Oscar Peterson are associated with this type of music: rock and roll, jazz, or country? It's jazz. Who played Roger O. Thornhill in North by Northwest? Cary Grant, Marty Robbins, or Federico Fellini? Cary Grant. How many Academy Awards did Ben-Hur win? 12, 5 or 11? 11. This designer created New Look collection in the 1950s. Coco Chanel, Christian Dior or Marc Jacobs? Christian Dior. Archie Moore is most associated with what sport? Golf, baseball or boxing? Boxing. Complete the name of this 1960s singer. Something Springfield. Wendy, Dusty or Layla? Dusty. Between 1964 and 1969, how many #1 hits did Diana Ross and the Supremes have? 12, 5 or 10? They had 12. That's crazy. A lot of hits. Complete this 1960s Simon and Garfunkel song. Sound of, sadness, silence or songs? Silence. True or false? The Doors were asked to not return to the Ed Sullivan Show after performing Light My Fire. It's true. True or false? Dean Martin died in a plane crash. False. He actually died of a heart attack. The 1960s group, the Seekers, were from this country: England, New Zealand or Australia? Australia. Willie Mays is most associated with this sport: baseball, football or track and field? Baseball. Cambodia, Laos and Vietnam were once under this country's rule: Japan, China or France? France. Dr. Francois Duvalier declared himself president for life of this country: Côte d'Ivoire, Haiti or Dominican Republic? Haiti. Complete this foundation song: Build Me Up, Love Bug, Buttercup or Angel Baby? Buttercup, build me up, buttercup. In 1969, the Beatles released this album: Something Road, Abbey, Yellow Brick or Landers? It's Abbey Road. How did Walt Disney die? Lung cancer, heart attack or a stroke? Lung cancer. This style of books became popular in the 1960s. Cowboy boots, Go-go boots or knee-high boots? What style of boot became popular in the 60s? Go-go boots. What was the name of Lillian Herman's Munster's son? Jack, Eddie or Bobby? Eddie. What was the Munsters' address? No multiple choice, can you remember this? "1313 Mockingbird Lane." This skirt with a dog breed name was popular during the 1950s. Another no multiple choice. Can you think what this skirt is? The poodle skirt. Did you have one? Who sang the song "You Belong to Me"? Vera Lynn, Doris Day or Joe Stafford? Joe Stafford. Doo-wop is a type of what? Hairstyle, music or jacket? Music. The 1950s were known as the golden age of this: money, television or love? Television. Golden age of television. What part of the world was the teddy boy popular? So no multiple choice. I'm sure you can visualize the teddy boys. In the UK. Complete this 1960s song. Don't Let Me Be, Misunderstood, Alone or Lonely? Misunderstood. This designer is credited with creating the tunic. Yves Saint Laurent, Balenciaga or Chanel? Balenciaga. Mark Love was a member of what 1960s group? The Temptations, the Venturers or the Beach Boys? The Beach Boys. Alfred Hitchcock and Stanley Kubrick were popular something of the 1950s. So, were they filmmakers, singers, or journalists? They were filmmakers. Jerry and the Pacemakers' song "Ferry Cross the Tweed," Mersey or Trent? It's ferry across the Mersey. In England, the 1960s were known as this. You know this one? We named it the Swinging 60s. In what year was John F. Kennedy assassinated? 1960, 1963 or 1967? (1963). How many African countries gained independence from European colonial rulers during the 1960s? 5, 32 or 17? 32. The Sino-Indian War was between India and this country: Greece, Egypt, or China? China. What is the name of Shirley Bassey's song from a James Bond movie? You remember this one? Goldfinger. It's all right, I'll stop there. What year did the Indo-Pakistani War begin? 1953, 1954, or 1965? 1965. The Tlatelolco massacre, I apologise about my pronunciation, occurred in what country? Peru, Mexico, or Chile? It was Mexico. Tlatelolco. The Chicano movement was associated with which group of people? Mexicans, Chinese, or Irish? The Mexicans. In what country did the first heart transplant take place? South Africa. And your last one, I Only Have Eyes for You, was a song by what group? The Flamingos, the Fleetwoods, or the Coasters? The Flamingos. So, how did you do on the 50s and 60s? Drop your score in the comments below, and of course like and subscribe so we can notify you every time we post a new quiz. And please join us next time on Quiz Time.